Unkind Rewind. Get to the chopper!
You know what you are? You're one of those little fancy lads, aren't you?
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro. And we figured we'd squeeze a little juice.
Welcome, everybody, to another installment of the Unkind Rewind. This week we'll be meeting our next guest, Max Rieper, the managing editor of Royals Review for like 10 years now. We wrote together for a long time.
In the trenches.
Yeah, we wrote about those Royals, who I still don't really think their pitching is going to hold up, but
we're talking about the British Royals, right?
Yeah. Their pitching's not going to hold up.
That sucks.
Yeah, I know.
What about their farm system?
Not looking rosy. So,
and by that we mean like like Prince William's kids.
Yeah.
That's the farm system.
That's farm system. So it's been still unseasonably cool for the most part here. We had like one warm day. How are things in New York, Sean?
Not great. Everywhere, but I mean, I don't know. We're getting hit hard. We got these advisories to, of course, keep your blinds closed all day and don't go outside. And yeah, I mean, you can only take that so far. I do have to go outside occasionally,
Sure.
even in bad weather. But yeah, I mean, it's when you break down on the subway that you really question life, and then or the subway's air conditioner doesn't work, or or the platforms aren't being cooled, and then you're just around bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in kind of that Dionysian orgy cesspool of heat, body heat.
You're in the orgy scene in The Matrix.
Yeah, is that the second one?
Yeah, second one.
Yeah, what is that place called?
Don't care. Yeah.
Zion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I am very much in Zion.
Yeah.
I mean, Lawrence Fishburne's from here.
Yeah. What have you been up to other than trying not to die?
Oh God. Well, I started to get some man on the street Cinequotes done. So those are kind of fun, having kind of randos walk up to you and play a movie trivia guessing game. It can absolutely be a good experience, and it can be a really, really bad experience.
Are you posting these on social media?
Well, I will. I'm collecting a bunch of them now. So once I get to like 50 or 60.
Sure.
But yeah,
are you gonna post it? Like, are you gonna post it on TikTok and Instagram or something?
Yeah, we'll do the full social media barrage
Sure.
of random people who we have yet to meet one person who has played the game, who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We're trying to give them the first one for free and then see if they get hooked and go from there.
My streak's at 209 right now.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It may have been disrupted if you had insisted that the movie was called Ghost in the Darkness.
That one was tough.
Yeah. Remember, folks, the movie is The Ghost
and
the Darkness.
Yeah, that one I'm pretty sure I got down to my fifth.
Yeah.
On that one. That was not easy. There have been a few that I got down to 5 on that I was like, oh fuck, is this the end?
That was a good experience. I mean, that was a movie that was playing at the movie theater I worked at in high school, Ghost in the Darkness, and was a night where I snuck 4 of my friends in along with myself. It was a night I wasn't working. And then there was a problem with the projector. And so everybody leaving the theater got handed a emergency pass So yeah, I got kind of reamed by my boss for, first of all, sneaking 4 people in on a premiere on like the opening night for a
Yeah.
movie, but also like at no point did a 16-year-old kid refuse a free ticket to come back
Sure.
later, even though they got in for free. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that wasn't good. So, yeah. What about you? What's up?
It's funny to me that you wanted to go to the Ghost in the Darkness
We didn't know.
on opening weekend.
Right, we didn't know what it was. I mean, back then when you worked for a movie theater,
You just go with whatever's
everything.
opening. Yeah.
That same night we went to Long Kiss Goodnight, which was good.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then also Thinner, which was not good.
Sure.
The Stephen King book adaptation. So yeah, I mean, there's some fun parts in Ghost in the Darkness, but yeah, I mean, God, in 2012 or something, I figured out that there was a theater in Portland that would give you a free entry +1 to anything that was playing at it if you showed your SAG card. I saw everything that year. I mean, if it was slightly unseasonable during the summer, just go to the movies.
Yeah. It's air conditioned.
Air conditioning, free way to kill 2 hours. Yeah, it was really, really great. Haven't found that theater since, but I went to a screening of Come and See. Have you heard of this?
I know I've seen something about it. Who's in it?
It's Russian. It's a often lauded like Criterion hit about this kind of peasant boy in Russia who wants to join World War II.
Okay.
Or wants to join the Russians in World War II. You know, often talked about as being like one of the more harrowing films.
Okay.
Difficult watches.
It's very highly rated on Criterion, right?
Oh,
or I
God,
mean on
yeah.
Letterboxd rather.
It's extremely highly rated.
Yeah, like I know it's like it's one of the highest rated movies that I haven't seen on Letterboxd.
So the Paris theater, which was bought by Netflix and plays Netflix premieres in order to get the award qualification.
Bi-coastal, it has to open bi-coastally and play for 2 weeks.
So they do, you know, some great programs outside of that. It's a nice place to see it. And they do a thing this week put on by American Cinematheque.
Yeah.
Cinematheque?
It's definitely American Cinematheque. I've worked multiple shows for them. Yeah.
So do you know about Bleak Week? So Bleak Week was in response to theaters kind of opening back up a couple years ago post-COVID. And a lot of people were saying you guys should show uplifting movies and bring people back to the theater. And they said, fuck that. We're showing really dark stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So this happens in different cities. They put on a week of depressing films and they sell out. Like
hence Come and See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hence Come and See. And I was like, oh, you know, I could put this on Criterion, but let's go to the theater. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
I get down there and unbeknownst to me, it's being introduced by Ari Aster.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's in the lobby, just like talking to the guys from American
Cinematheque.
Cinematheque. And I was like, oh, that's cool that Ari Aster's here. I didn't know that. It didn't bump up the price. He's not doing a Q&A. He's just introducing the movie. Apparently he loves this thing. Go figure, Josh, that a really dark filmmaker likes a dark movie.
Yeah.
So I go find my seat, and this guy in front of me, young man with a backpack, glasses, shaved head, is talking to this woman who is sitting right next to me, but they don't know each other. And I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but I get the sense that he approached Ari Aster in the lobby and like talked to him about his own personal projects, like doing that thing, which, as we were talking about, you know, on right before we started recording, and also that we talk about on the show, like there's a level of decorum and tact that you need to have, whether you're in front of the camera or behind it.
Shoot the shit about whatever.
Yeah. But this guy,
you don't ask for a selfie. You don't start pitching your shit.
This guy is pitching his shit to Ari Aster in the lobby. And he kind of gets deflated, but he feels comfortable. He feels optimistic because he gave Ari Aster his business card. Like, in what fucking world is Ari Aster going to go, well, let's call this kid? So, okay, if that was the end of it, it would have been fine. Instead, guys from American Cinematheque come out, they talk a little bit, then they introduce Ari Aster. Ari Aster comes out, says a few words, asks how many people have seen Come and See, asks who hasn't come see it, hasn't seen it, says a little bit more, and then starts to thank you for coming. I hope you guys enjoy the show. This fucking kid, I'm saying kid, but he's 30, stands up. And he's also filming this whole thing.
Fuck?
He's filming Ari Aster talking on a digital SLR that's slung around his neck. And he goes, I'm not kidding, like at a theatrical projection level, goes, a question for the great Ari Aster. And there's like some groans and like people are like,
sure, understandably, like, what the fuck is up with this Yahoo?
And he goes, I think Ari Aster immediately says, like, are we doing this? And nobody bails him out. Like, staff and whatnot are not there to come swoop him out of there. He's standing on a stage alone with a microphone.
Right.
Staff
aren't there because American Cinematheque's a nonprofit.
Yeah, and it's not a Q&A. Like, they're not expecting somebody to do this. But also, he is not a guy who, like, likes the limelight and, like, wants to engage. He wants to make movies, and that's about it. Like, he is not ready, not camera friendly in many ways. So I like the guy, I respect the guy, but Jesus Christ, he doesn't want to fucking talk to you. This guy stands up and he says, now I'm 30. I believe you're 37 years young. Great joke. What advice / recommendations would you give for an aspiring filmmaker? And the whole fucking theater groans. And you hear, like, sit down. Like, everybody is on.
Now, did you hear sit down because you said sit down?
Look, I'm right behind this guy.
I know.
I have to be there for like the rest of 2.5 hours. Like, I don't want to really get into something with this guy, but I wanted to like pull him down. And he's filming this for like a moment or something. Like, he's got his camera out. I mean, it was just. So he sits down, they swoop in, they get Ari Aster, and he says this very, very loudly. It's okay that you boo me because I know what you clap for.
This dipshit who stood up said that.
Yeah. Now he's talking to 200-300 like pretty hardcore cinephiles.
Yeah.
Who are taking their Sunday afternoon to see a
depressing as fuck. Yeah.
40-year-old Russian depressing movie. Yeah. Okay, so now he's uncomfortable, but like not really uncomfortable because he's a sociopath. And as the movie starts, he's connecting like his phone to these giant Bluetooth headphones that he's taken out of his backpack. This kid had like all the makings of like a school shooter. Like, I don't know, there was just something immediately wrong about him. So movie starts, he's still on his phone, like looking over what he just shot, I guess, but thinking it doesn't bother anybody because he's connected the audio to his Bluetooth headphones. So, of course, the person next to him or 2 seats down says, can you put your phone away? And he takes his headphones off and goes, excuse me, can I help you with something? And I'm like, oh, something's wrong with this guy. And he's like, yeah, can you put your phone away? And he goes, I guess I'll go to the lobby. So he leaves and he's gone for like 10, 15 minutes. I think he's gone for good.
You were hoping.
I was hoping. But, sure enough, he comes back and he comes back like really agitated. Like he's in a huff. He is like, I've heard the door kick open prior to him even coming like down the aisle. He brushes past 2 people without asking them to move, finds his seat again. And then just all that like weird energy is just too much for me. I'm like, I'll go sit in the front fucking row.
Yeah.
So I walk out. I know that it's kind of like a packed house, so I just go to the usher or the cashier, and I'm like, "Is there open seats? Like, I can't sit next to this guy." And she's like, "Yeah, left side, like 5 rows from the front." So I'm like, "Great." Head down there. There's an open seat. Grab my seat. He's out of my mind for a couple hours. Um, Not the last time though, because at the end of the movie, and it is a good movie, and people should see it. Um, I make my way out to the lobby, and as I make my way out there, I already hear yelling. And I'm like, wow, I'm guessing it's this fucking guy. Get out to the street, the sidewalk, and he's like yelling at somebody who told him that there's a time and a place for that. And he's screaming at this guy, but he's also filming him. He's got a camera in this guy's face, or like a camera phone, and he's screaming at this guy. He's also playing the race card, because now he's saying, you do not get to tell a black man what to do. You do not get to tell a person of color how to behave. And it's like, it has nothing to do with your race, my man. It's because you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And this guy is trying to disengage and trying to walk away. And like, it's a lot of people are out just kind of like making a circle as this guy just rants. And I'm like, oh God, this fucking guy. Um, this older couple who was walking near me was like, was that the guy that asked the question? I'm like, yeah, I was sitting right behind him. And I start giving them, like, on the sidewalk, a little breakdown of like what that was all about from my point of view.
Uh-huh.
At that point, there's a yell, like a couple yells, and I turn around, and this guy is in a fucking fist fight with somebody else, and a guy that he has ripped the shirt off of, like hockey style. They have grabbed each other around the necks and are like slugging it out, like a 1980s hockey fight. And I'm like, okay. I have my phone out. I take a little bit of footage of this, and then I'm just like, we need a cop. And luckily, there's the Puerto Rican Day Parade going on,
Uh-huh.
as is custom in New York City,
Uh-huh.
probably every day. But
yeah, it was a Wednesday, right?
yeah, it was a day of the
Or
week.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I grabbed like the most bored, apathetic cop, and I'm like, "Can you check this guy?" He's like,
Of the many bored, apathetic cops that are just standing around not doing anything.
Sorry to interrupt you on your phone, police officer, but and he's like, just disperse, let him. He'll go away. I'm like, go, like they're fighting, like, and he's like, all right, and again, completely indifferent, walks over, and they've broken up, and I swear, like within 2 seconds of the cop kind of showing up and saying, all right, this kid throws another punch. And now they're like, they got 3 guys on him. The cop is pulling it. The guy who's got his shirt ripped off and is like bleeding has his hands up, like, it's not me. I mean, I'm not going to do anything, but it's not me. I hope they press charges. I hope they fucking ban this guy from the Paris Theater, which is a great place. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, this is why filmmakers don't want to come and like take time out of their day for no real benefit.
Ari Aster's not getting anything out of fucking coming down and introducing Come and See.
No, it's a fucking...
Because you know what? American Cinematheque will have him down to fucking do anything anyway when he's just promoting his own shit. He doesn't need to help them out.
It's a bonus for the people who've come to see this. Again, I didn't know this was advertised, but holy shit, dude. What a roller coaster. And again, like, when someone shows up in your life that has that kind of energy, like, clock it.
Yeah.
Get away. Because like, hell, man, if I didn't have to go to the bathroom right after the movie, I might have said something to him like, dude, you can't be asking. Yeah. And who knows? He could have ripped the shirt off me. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, I think I feel like this is like, there's been some chatter online about this guy. So yeah, if you are that guy, fuck you. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Just made a whole, and like, it's a hard thing to like completely suppress too at the start of your movie. You know, you want to go down there, you paid your 15, $20, you want to enjoy the movie, and this
Yeah.
guy looking for a moment or like looking to like get ahead. It's not how you do it.
It seems weird, man.
Yeah. Welcome to New York City.
Yeah.
He's not, yeah. I was gonna say like he doesn't represent all of us, but yeah, there are a lot of those guys out here.
So, somewhat apropos of last week's movie, I watched the much talked about Bratz documentary that Andrew McCarthy directed.
Oh shit. Okay.
John Cryer makes an appearance.
Okay. How's he come off?
He's fine because he doesn't consider himself he never really was a Brat Packer. You know, he's in a lot of those movies, but he wouldn't have been. Anyway, it's a weird experience because Andrew McCarthy really didn't get over an article that wasn't really written about him at all. He's mentioned once.
Okay. Weird axe to bear on that.
Yeah, very strange axe to grind, but it was a label that then got ascribed to everybody who was in St. Elmo's Fire, so I sort of see that. But whatever.
Pryor dodged that bullet.
Cryer sure did, yeah. So I've been watching some other Brat Pack movies, just for shits and giggles. Or it's really more like, well, some Brat Packers, I guess. I watched this fucking bizarre Fresh Horses that I'd never fucking heard of. That's with McCarthy and Molly Ringwald.
Oh, okay. Well, big names at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's a reason you haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There usually is.
Stay away. I guess we've got some podcast business. So talking about there was a photo in the Instagram post of John Cryer for hiding out. Greg Grizzo says, why does John Cryer look like Jonathan Frakes in disguise? That's in one of the bearded pictures.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of an apt.
Need about another foot. Frakes is a large man.
He is, yeah. Frakes is big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, he's directed you, right?
Yeah, I really like Frakes. I talked to him a few years after he directed me in a television episode, and couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Yeah. But yeah, he's what, 6'2", 6'3"?
I think
Maybe
he's
6'4".
I think he's 6'4". Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's a tall glass of water.
Yeah, I mean it helps. Patrick Stewart's not tall.
Right.
Yeah.
Worf is big.
Oh yeah, Michael Dorn is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patrick Stewart's only 5'7", maybe 5.
And just the cut of that uniform,
Mhm.
that adds an inch or two there.
Yeah.
That like
And he's broad-shouldered. Yeah.
Yeah. Slanted black. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he cut a figure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was a hot piece of ass for
Yeah.
solid 10
4 or
15
5 years. Oh, was it that long?
Well, because the movies kept going,
Oh yeah, the fucking movies. Yeah, good
movies,
point.
yeah. Now before the episode dropped, Gopher Balls had said on Blue Sky, hiding out and Morgan Stewart's coming home are the Dermot Mulroney and Dylan McDermott of 1987 John Cryer movies. And then after it dropped, he said, I get the sense the original Hiding Out screenplay was a straightforward mob drama, but after Cruise and Penn passed, the producers got Cryer and gave the script doctor a weekend and a large baggie of cocaine to try to turn it into a teen comedy. They failed.
It's gonna happen,
Then he added that I bet the original ending involved a ladder dangling from a helicopter, but they did not have enough money, so they changed it to a high school gym catwalk. And then the Laundry, the Laundry responded to that. I only saw it once many years ago, but my recollections are it was 1, not good, and 2, not Cryer's fault. To which Gopher Balls said, accurate. He's likable, even though his character is not. He can deliver a quip or a fast-talking mini monologue, but if the words are not funny, there's not much else he can do.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a bit hamstrung.
For sure, the script's
Yeah.
not good, and we had plenty to say about that.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
Our episode is far more entertaining than the movie.
I concur. I think the
Yeah.
episode's
We're
fun.
not even biased. Like,
Yeah.
there's no satisfaction you're going to derive from the
No.
movie
Um,
unless you're our guest.
well, okay.
He still had a lot of
Yeah. And I would
good
say that
feelings.
if you like seeing how fucked up 80s movies can get, just like fundamentally, it's fun in that respect. I like watching a movie be bad or be like very problematic. Like I enjoy that, but in a more like ironic or schadenfreude kind of way. So,
What would prompt you to turn it off?
no, if I won't turn anything off if I haven't seen it because I don't feel like I can count it as having seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
So for my completest,
Yeah.
like I have to see it through to the end. Yeah. Anyway, Jeremy begrudgingly rejoined Twitter. His handle is @dogsbeout 512. That's
Jeremy, our guest for the Beastmaster episode.
yep.
Well, welcome back. We got him back, Josh.
Yeah, he's back on Twitter. Chad Burns has reviewed Furiosa, which wasn't a glowing review, but not a total pan. And then his review for the Bike Riders should come out, I believe, tomorrow.
I had a lot of problems with Bike Riders. I mean, I
Okay.
think it's cool. It's fucking cool.
Uh-huh.
But like,
I don't like Austin Butler.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? He's got like he had work done, man. Like work. He didn't need it, but like I saw kind of like some side by sides, and yeah, like he's gone under the knife to make himself prettier, and it's like you didn't need much help to begin with, and now you have this extra help, and like it really feels like an exercise in like Nichols just wanting to do a passion project of like falling in love with this like book and this like real documentary series of bike gangs from the 60s and kind of wanting to do his thing on it. And like, yeah, he's done it. I feel like movies like, Take Shelter and Mud and Loving have a lot to say.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of a cool period piece. But like the relationship stuff doesn't work because Butler's so alien in a weird way.
I don't understand him. I don't think I've liked him in a single fucking thing. I hated him in Elvis, and I hated Elvis.
We should not talk about Elvis. There's be here all night, but yeah, I mean,
I didn't like. I thought. I mean, I had a lot of problems with Dune Part 2, but I thought he was fucking bad in Dune Part 2.
I could see a lot of people just loving Bike Riders and just thinking, "Oh man, it's fucking great and gritty and cool." Like,
I think Chad liked it more than you did. So
yeah, and I'll acquiesce that if you just kind of want a kind of a slice of life 60s biker stuff, like yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you want a sort of biker exploitation type thing.
In terms of like deeper meaning and heart, I think it's lacking in a lot of ways. And again, like I'm only hard on it because I think Nichols is so great.
Sure. No, he's one of my favorite directors. So
yeah. So wanted to like it more and was just kind of okay with it.
Sure. That's kind of like my my general licorice pizza.
Yeah,
I felt that way.
I was harder on that than you, but I can see a lot.
Oh no, I didn't like it that much. I was kind of like, why did he do this?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'll like it on a second pass, but I haven't wanted to watch it a second time.
Sometimes these passion projects, I mean,
yeah,
there's a reason that they should stay in your dream journal. Yeah. And this is a movie that had a hard time finding distribution. It's been wrapped and done for a year.
Okay.
Originally it was going to come out in October of 23. Crazy. Yeah. So now that we're getting a summer 24 release, I'm kind of like, I mean, Hardy's cool.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm just kind of, the why is the harder part for me.
Yeah. My dad texted and asked, how do I do a podcast with my phone?
Great.
Yep.
Classic dad.
Try to walk you through it, Dad. On Facebook, Mustan commented, "Ha! I never even knew the name of the film. I saw some of this once randomly 30 plus years ago when my cousin had it on. I came into the film halfway, but it seemed like a cool premise, so I think he's going to watch it."
Yeah.
I didn't scare him away. I feel like
That was for what? Hiding out?
yeah, that was for hiding out.
Okay.
Debbie emailed and said, "You two still owe me a car.
Oh, shit.
Time now."
I know what that's about.
Yep.
Where's that car?
It's in a scrapyard in Kansas City.
Sorry, Mom.
On the Discord, NYC critic, aka Jake Andrews, said, "Should have asked this earlier. Favorite Mark Singer, V or Beastmaster?"
I don't know if he.
I haven't seen it either, and it's very hard to watch. I actually looked, but the V mini series from the '80s, the original one, not the remake with Miranda Baccarin.
Is that how you say her name?
Miranda Baccarin, yeah.
Baccarin? Okay. I always would say Baccarin or.
No, I think it's Baccarin.
Yeah, I'm not the Whedon guy here.
I'm trying. I mean, I've been in the room when her name was pronounced by people who knew how to pronounce it. I swear it's Miranda Baccarin. Yeah.
I'm not fighting.
She
you.
was
It's
originally supposed to present for the Ryan Reynolds thing, but she was stuck on location. They didn't wrap her. Her shoot ran long, so she had to send in a pre-tape that was really funny for the Ryan Reynolds.
Seems
the
like
Ryan Reynolds thing is all on the Ryan Reynolds thing. His American Cinematheque award. Speaking of American Cinematheque, American Cinematheque Award for Ryan Reynolds is all up on Ryan Reynolds' YouTube, so you can watch the whole show. It's really funny. But
Marina Baccarin sounds like a cool person. It's just a shame she looks like that, you know. God wasn't kind.
Yeah.
Can't all be first round picks.
She's a first round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that was
finally,
sarcasm.
Yeah, big time. And finally, Brad Pitt reached out through back channels and said, "I really wanted to come on your podcast, but you guys already did Cocoon. Tell Peter he just made my list of things to do."
Wow. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh. I mean, I guess if Brad will only do one.
I didn't think
We could probably do it twice, I guess.
I didn't think we were stirring so many pots with this podcast. Man, we're just starting shit.
Yeah. So, Peter, watch your back.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah.
You hadn't had a hard enough time last couple of years.
Yeah. So I guess now's as good a time as any to throw to the teaser interview with Max Rieper from Royals Review, royalsreview.com.
And our
visit the
foray
website. Yeah, and
into the storm.
Yes. It's kicking off a month of a certain star of this film. So, yeah. With no further ado, here's Max. Unkind Rewind, where we are getting to know our next guest. It's a guest who I worked and wrote with for like what, seven years, I think, maybe 8.
I think you stayed on my. I think you crashed on my couch once too.
Yes, I did. Yeah, for the game 2 of the 2014 World Series. But yes, we are joined by the still managing editor of Royals Review, Max Rieper. How's it going, Max?
Good. I'm still around. I don't know what that says about me that I'm still managing a blog about the lowly Kansas City Royals, although not lowly this year, at least through 2 weeks.
Yeah,
We'll see how long that lasts.
yeah. We've seen how 2 weeks can be misleading before. So for the listener, Max, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
So I live in Kansas City. I'm a big Royals fan, a baseball fan. I've lived here most of my life. And I'm it's a treat to be on here to talk about some old movies that I don't remember so well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to do that.
Nice. So uh you grew up in KC, but you went to college at OSU, right?
Yeah, I went to college in Ohio at the Ohio State University.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
contractually
yeah, you are.
obligated to say that. But I did go to school there. I moved to DC for a little bit, got a
Okay.
career there, and then moved back to Kansas City and took over Royals Review just in time to see
Yes.
them become like a good team, which I like to take some credit for.
Yeah.
But
It was pretty much your doing, I think.
and you too, because you were writing on our staff at the time,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
they were getting pretty good at the time. So it was fun. It was a fun run for a little bit, and then they immediately got bad again. And
Yes.
you know, I kind of think like we got more better writing and more creative writing, especially from you when the team was bad.
I
Like
didn't
it's almost
write
like
well when
fans
they were
like
good. I didn't know what to do.
yeah, the fans almost like I think they like the
Yeah.
losing more than the winning.
Mhm. Yeah. Or at least the fans who want to read about them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's like some gallows humor in a team that
Yes.
loses 100 games a year
Ooh,
that is kind of
there is.
comforting, and it's like I think you wrote once like it's like coming home when the team goes on a losing streak. Like
Yeah.
it just feels like it feels right.
Yeah, when they knock off like 12 in a row and you're just like, "Oh yeah, this is what it feels like."
Right.
Yeah, it's a weird honestly, it's a bad place to feel comfortable, but I don't know, if you have a particular set of skills, it can be somewhat fruitful.
That's what they're good at. They're good at losing in a hilarious fashion.
It
And
sure is.
stick to what you know.
Yeah. Stop with this. Like, oh, we're toying with being in first place in the division for two weeks into the season.
Well, they can only be really, really bad or really, really good. And I feel like I wouldn't know what to do if they were like just a mediocre team.
Yeah. Like the best case scenario for us in the bad seasons is what, 75 wins?
Yeah.
As
Which is what I thought they'd be this year, and they might be better than that. So
they
we'll
might
see.
be. I mean, they've banked wins, so I would assume they're probably like a 79 win team. I still don't buy it, but whatever.
So skeptical after all these 100 lost seasons. How could you be so skeptical?
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, we don't need to keep talking about the Royals, though. You have not seen Return to Oz since your youth.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I've seen this, but I have no idea. Like my recollection is going to be far hazier than yours is. I'm not even 100% sure I've seen it. I think I did because I think I saw it like at somebody's house in about 1987, but no recall at all. Now memory can be a tricky thing. In just a few sentences, having not rewatched the film in ages, describe the basic plot of the movie for us.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, it's funny. Like, there's a number of movies from that era
Yeah.
that I think like you're not sure if they were nightmares or they were actual movies that you watched. And I think that's kind of the premise of your podcast.
Yes.
But like this is one of those movies where like I know I saw it.
Uh-huh.
So okay, so what I remember is first of all, when I was a kid, my grandmother bought me a book of The Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
And it's the book. So like not the movie.
Yeah,
And
the L. Frank
book-
Baum. Yeah.
Yeah, the Frank L. Baum book, which is
Yeah.
a classic, and the movie is not exactly the same as the book. So
Right.
it's a different plot and different stuff happens. And I loved the book.
Uh-huh.
And the movie I saw, and I was like, it's not that great. And I was kind of like an early snob of like,
Sure.
oh, the movie's not like the book.
An
Like one
early
of those
Oz
kids.
purist. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, they really did Frank L. Baum wrong in this
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the movie that much, but when they did the sequel, I was like all in on it for some
Okay.
reason. Even it's, and I think it's based on other Frank L. Baum writings, but I don't think I was aware of that. So,
Sure.
but anyway, I like being in that world. So I know it was a Disney movie,
Yeah.
and and Disney was going through a weird phase in that time where they were making like kind of creepy shit. Like,
Yeah.
can we say shit in this?
Oh yeah,
podcast?
yeah.
Like,
No, we're
yeah,
explicit.
like they were making some creepy shit, like
Uh-huh.
Black Hole was maybe a little earlier than that,
Uh-huh.
but that kind of freaked kids out.
Yeah.
And then they made this movie, which really freaked some kids out. I know that, but
Yeah.
I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't have a whole lot of memories of this movie other than the plot. Okay, so
Just rough idea. No, it's fine. This is all good. This is all.
So I know Dorothy, and I remember this. She was played by Faizuka Balk.
Fairuza Balk. Yeah.
Was a child actress who became a adult actress. And
Well, when a grown-up actress.
Right, a grown-up. She was in
Not in
Waterboy and the what's it, the witch movie she was in?
The Craft.
The Craft, yes.
Yeah. But not an
but-
adult actress. There's a
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for making that distinction.
Yeah.
She was a child actress in this one. She was very much a child,
Mhm.
from what I remember, because I think I probably had a thing for her at the time. Because I think in like
Sure.
4th or 5th grade when this came out. So what I remember is that Dorothy comes back to Oz, is summoned, or is like Oz has like people from Oz will be like, come back, Dorothy, we need you.
Okay.
And so she goes back to Oz. I have a very clear memory of like what Oz looks like when she comes back, and it's very dystopian, like cracked sidewalks, trees with no leaves, like no one's around, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I remember that she met 3 characters who are very much parallels to the Lion, Tin Man, and Scarecrow
Mhm.
from the original.
Sure.
So I remember the Tin Man parallel was a robot of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah. This is written by people on crack. I know.
Sure. Yeah. It's the 80s.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think the Scarecrow parallel was like a couch with a taxidermy moose attached to it, and then like fern. This sounds insane.
Yeah.
Describing it. But fern leaves as like
This-
the wings. I can fly.
Okay. This is
And-
gold.
Yeah, like that's like something like that. And I think he was like I know the Scarecrow wanted a brain. This creature wanted life. I think that was the whole thing, is like these creatures wanted like the gift of life or something like that.
Okay.
I don't remember what the parallel to the lion was, if it was
Sure.
another animal or what. But I know there was like 3 parallel, like there was exactly the same as like the original, but just like these are updated versions of the 3 characters she hangs out with. I do remember that instead of winged monkeys that terrified kids in the original movie, this version had, I think it was men with rollerblading was really popular back then, and they were on roller skates with like roller skate arms, like they were on all 4s like a
Whoa.
dog. And yeah, and on all 4 appendages they had roller skates, rollerblades.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what terrified a lot of kids back then.
Okay. Okay.
So that was like the bad guy. I don't remember who the like ultimate bad guy. I know the original had the Wicked Witch of the West.
Sure.
She obviously died in the first one.
Yeah.
I have no idea who the bad guy in the second one was.
Nice.
So I can't tell you what the internal conflict or like
Sure.
the battle for this movie was.
So this came out in 85. Did you see it in the theater, or was this something that you would have seen when it made it to like a home videos?
That definitely would have been a home movie because I was 7 in 85, and I
Okay.
don't think I would have seen that in the theaters.
Okay.
So it seems like something, I think I probably saw it at a friend's house that had the Disney Channel.
Okay, sure.
it was probably airing. They had nothing else to air at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and because I remember, I have a distinct memory of like going to a friend's house that had the Disney Channel, and then like we were making Legos of the characters, like the
Okay.
moose thing and the robot thing. Like
Yeah.
I remember making those and playing that in his house.
So you and a friend had both caught the bug. The Return to
Yeah,
Oz
I think
bug. You were both like on board, fully on board.
I was on board. I don't know if he was so much on board.
Okay, okay.
Because I think because if I recall correctly, the movie did not do. I don't know if was it released in theaters. I don't know, but it did not do well. I don't think it was well received at the time
Mhm.
because I kind of remember being like one of the only people that liked the movie. I was like, oh, it's
Okay.
a great movie, and other people were like, no, it's not. It's not a good movie.
Sure. So you were getting pushback as a kid, like
Like
no.
it was a weird, creepy movie. Yeah, it was a weird, creepy. I wouldn't be surprised to find out. I have no idea who made it. I wouldn't be surprised to find out like Tim Burton had a big hand in it,
Sure, sure.
or like someone like that, because like it seemed very kind of creepy. Like, and that's kind of why I liked it. I think is because it was kind of creepy. It
Mhm.
was kind of weird. It didn't seem Disney at all. It seemed very like, oh, this is some weird stuff. Like this isn't a kids movie. And I think that's kind of what drew me to it a little bit.
Okay, so you liked that it was. I almost exclusively know of this movie as just being kind of like nightmare fuel for children.
Yeah,
children
yeah,
children
yeah.
of our generation. But like, so do you think that's what drew you to it? Were you into other kind of like scarier things like that?
No, I was a
Okay.
kid. Though. I was a total pussy as a kid. Like, I was creeped out by like all like I saw Time Bandits and I was like totally terrified by it. I saw
Yeah.
E.T. I was scared. I had nightmares of E.T. But like
Yeah.
Return to Oz was a creepy movie, but like for some reason I like loved that world and like
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm all about. And I think it's because I read the book and I was like, oh, the book is kind of weird. It like the
Yeah.
book takes some weird angles that the movie is like, no, that's too weird for us. We're not going to do that.
Yeah,
And-
the
and
movie
book-
streamlined out of it. It's like, oh, we
yeah,
don't
the
need
book,
this.
the movie's like, we're not going to do that for little kids.
Yeah.
And so the book kind of like set me up for like, okay, this is going to be some weird stuff that Frank Allbaum's into. And
Yeah.
I think I was just all about like, okay, let's go into it. Let's be weird in this movie. And I think I just liked that there was a sequel. Like, I think I was just like, hey, cool, there's a sequel. I like
Yeah.
this world. I want to be in this world.
Uh-huh.
And I was all into it.
So what do you think you were like at this age, at the age that you were just into Oz?
I don't know, man. I was a nerdy kid. I was like I said, easily scared. So it's weird that I like this movie because there's some kind of scary stuff in it for a little kid.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was probably like 10 or 11 though. I think I was a little older to be.
Okay, you probably saw it
scared by
more
that
like
stuff.
a couple years after it came out.
Yeah, I definitely saw it after it came out. I think I saw it like as a
Yeah.
either on Disney Channel at my friend's
Sure,
house,
sure.
or it was some dad recorded it off his VCR when it was on at some
Yeah.
time, because that was pretty common.
Oh yeah. Especially Disney, like you didn't really need to screen it if you were a parent. You could just record
Yeah.
things off the Disney
You're
Channel.
like, oh yeah, it's fine,
Yeah.
it's Disney, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, this is gonna give my kid nightmares. Like,
I bet that's
I am
why so
curious-
many kids did see it.
yeah, and I'm curious to see, like, I wonder if they're like actors that I would know. I don't know who was in the movie because for some reason I know Fazooka Balk was in it.
Yeah.
Because I must have recognized her later, like, oh, that's the girl from Return to Oz, but like I don't know who else was in the movie.
I mean,
Probably some
I'm
British actors
looking
I
at the
didn't know from
cast
the
list,
70s.
and I think the only super recognizable one's Piper Laurie.
So this is like a movie that they made on the cheap, and it's like, oh, we can come up with a story for Wizard of Oz. Let's just make it.
It's not that cheap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. We'll
Well,
get
I
into
mean, the
that.
special
We'll
effects.
get
They had a
into
lot of
that.
special
Yeah,
effects.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
can
the
kinda- I
money
guess I
probably
can
went
see it.
into the like art, the production design basically.
Yeah. Which I think Disney was kind of into at the time. They were like, let's make really like grand pieces, and
Sure.
if it's kind of creepy, that's fine. And they're a little more into the art back then.
They
which-
were oddly like rudderless in a weird way. You know,
Yeah,
they weren't like
yeah.
producing the animated fare through them. Like, Little Mermaid was the first animated movie they'd done in what, like 10 years or something. And so, like, it was this weird zone where they weren't. I don't think Disney knew who they were for a
They were
little
making a
while.
lot of live action movies
Yeah.
because like they did a couple of bombs. Like when I was a little kid, we watched The Rescuers and Fox
Sure.
and Hound, which were kind of not like no one remembers them now. I love Fox and Hound, but no one remembers that.
Sure.
Like that was like the lost era of Disney, and like so I think they tried some live action stuff like Black Hole, and that was I don't think that was well received. I think people like respect it now, but like at the time, like people thought it was weird and kind of off-putting. And then Return to Oz, I think we were excited for Wizard of Oz sequel, but it probably wasn't what they were expecting.
Sure. It wasn't headlined by Judy Garland, who's kind of still America's sweetheart. At least that Judy Garland was.
And I don't think it was a musical. Like the first one was a musical, pretty much, because there's songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember this one having songs, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe they're just that forgettable.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, you obviously you talked a little bit about maybe playing Legos, Wizard of Oz Legos, but do you have any other memories that stick out? About your like personal experiences with the movie. If you don't, that's fine.
It was such a blip.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I don't really remember if it came out in theaters, and it just seemed like one of those movies that was just on TV.
Sure.
And people like kind of forgot about it pretty quickly. Yeah. So my guess is it didn't do well if it went in theaters. And like I said, it just seemed like one of those weird movies that missed its audience, but maybe kind of had some artistic validity to it. Like I said, I liked it from what I remember. Like it was kind of cool. It had some new characters and I think there was like a theme of like, like I think what I remember is like the characters are trying to get life because they were like a robot and a inanimate object. And I don't remember what the animal was, but I think they were like sentience and life was like kind of like the theme. Like, oh, isn't sentience wonderful? Isn't it? It's a gift that humans have that other objects should desire to have, and like we shouldn't take that for granted. Like that was kind of the theme I got from it. But
I hope that is. I hope that's what this is.
I have no idea if that was a plot or not. Like I think. Oh, I am. Something's coming back to me. Like some bad guy. I want to say had their face like could take off their face. I want to say that like this may be totally off, but I remember like a witch of some sort. She was able to take off her face, and that I think maybe that was another thing that
scared children,
perhaps freaked out the little kids.
That scared the target audience
that
for this
scary
film.
As a kid. Yeah, now it's coming back to me. Like I'm picturing someone in a room, like a carnival, dressing room.
Okay,
and she's like able to take off her face, and that's like a big reveal, and it's like, oh my god, that's crazy, like freaked me out. So I don't know if that's in the movie or that's something I just had a nightmare about.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've definitely so far we've definitely had at least a couple of like, oh weird, I totally misremembered that, or
oh sure,
like where some other thing bled into like the memory of a movie.
Memories are so we realize memories are so fragile, like they don't like it was so bad. And we convict people for this.
Yes, it's great. Our society definitely works. So what expectations do you have for your return to Oz?
Yeah, that's I don't know what to expect. I'm expecting it to be kind of creepy and kind of weird, and like I expect to be questioning decisions made by the director. But I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be some. I'm sure it'll come back to me. The characters will be like, oh yeah, I remember that. The characters are the cool. Like I remember the characters. Like they were creative in the characters. I thought, and they're kind of a little derivative of the original, but like they came up with new characters that were kind of, I guess, endearing to me. And like the bad guy, the rollerblading bad guys were kind of I don't know, to me at the time, like a fresh, like, oh my god, that's terrifying. Like not flying monkeys kind of bad guy. So I don't know. It could be good. I guess it's not. I see a lot of movies people have nostalgia about. I've never seen anyone have nostalgia about this one. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
Do you think that 10-year-old Max was a contrarian, or just to be a contrarian, or like ahead of his time?
I was probably more of a contrarian that was just like, oh, I like this because you guys don't get you guys don't get Frank L. Baum like I get him.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Like I was totally like this isn't like the book. Like kid, like
Sure.
I prided myself on being smarter than other kids. So it's probably more that like, oh, you guys just don't get the vision of the director here.
Now, have you seen The Wizard of Oz again as an adult, and do you like Wizard of Oz more as an adult than you did as a kid?
I haven't. It's one of those that we just never showed our kids because it is kind of freaky for kids.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't know, like it wasn't like one of my favorites or anything like that as a kid.
Yeah, it wasn't some cherished memory that you wanted to share with them, or
no. And they used to show it on TV every year, and I don't know if they still do that anymore. Or we don't watch analog TV anymore, but yeah, I haven't seen it I haven't seen that movie in
the same amount of
30
time,
40 years,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I haven't seen Return to Oz in probably the same amount of time.
Sure.
So
right on. Well, I think on that note we can bid adieu to the audience. Where can everybody find you, Max?
They can find me at royalsreview.com. I write about the Kansas City Royals. If you don't like baseball or don't like the Royals, then I don't know. We talk about other stuff too sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's if you like the Royals, come check us out. We have a good community. Josh used to write there. He might stop by once in a while.
Yeah, I drop in every once in a while. Yeah, when they do something that pisses me off.
When you're on Jeopardy, you stop by once in a while.
Well, that was actually right when that aired when I was right before I left.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, if you're ever on again, I'm sure you're right about it.
Yeah. But so on socials, you are.
I'm not on socials. Really.
Oh, did you cut the ties?
Yeah, once? I'm not on X. I have an Instagram account that's private, so no bother.
Yeah, don't bother. Okay. But yeah, you're still, I'm assuming, handling the Royals Review Twitter account.
I do the Royals Review Twitter account, so I make stupid jokes about the Royals,
sure,
and baseball in general. So Royals Review at X, I guess is how you say it. I don't know.
If you go to Twitter, I still put Twitter as the. I don't.
They're trying to go by X. No one's going by that.
Yeah. But yeah. And I mean, you're like the weird mainstay. You're the like.
This means I'm old, and I'm old. I've been around too long.
I wouldn't say that.
I would.
But yeah, I mean, you're like the mainstay in the Royals online community at this point. I mean, Craig's still doing stuff, and I guess Lesky is too. But
yeah, I do. I mean, we have a great community. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I only do it because it's fun. I'm not getting paid enough to do this much work, but it's a lot of fun. And I as long as I'm still following the team this much, I might as well get paid to do it and write about it.
Be able to write off whatever baseball expenses you have.
Sure, yeah, the tax time right now, so I got
athletic subscriction. Nope,
right.
That's a business expense. Right. Yep.
I just had this conversation. Yeah.
Yep. All of the Fangraphs membership. Business expense.
Right. It's a business expense.
Baseball
right
reference.
That's right. All expenses, baby.
Yep. Well, thank you for joining us, Max.
Anytime. This is fun. And I'm excited to watch the movie again. I want to see how messed up this movie is.
Yeah. And it's going to be weird going back and seeing this again. Shit will you'll get weird flashes because you haven't it'll be fun. But yes, next week tune in when we really dive in to Max's revisitation of Return to Oz. You've just listened to another installment of the Unkind Rewind podcast, mining and potentially ruining your childhood for content, one film at a time.
Unkind Rewind is a Munchcast production and can be ingested wherever you listen to podcasts and on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate and review Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Yelp, IMDb, Consumer Reports, Google Reviews, and TripAdvisor. Links to all of our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as @UnkindRewindPod on nearly every social media platform that makes sense. If you had a question, concern, complaint, or positive feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com. Or you can join the lively Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue with the pod may just make it into the next week's ep, so chat away. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to another Unkind Rewind.